September 19th, 2002 was the day that Our Films was born, and in 13 years, they have grown from a small group of friends filming to merely pass the time, into a family whose passion for film that cannot be matched. From their first moments to their most recent accomplishments, they're a force that can't be stopped. They are Our Films Entertainment, and these are their stories, their lives, behind the camera. To friends and family, Our Films co-founder Brian Mulka has always been known to be a very quiet and humble individual. That is until you get him to speak his mind, of course. Whether it's about religion or politics, he always has something to say. That's basically how people know him, a natural-born leader. And because of this, he successfully ran a backyard wrestling organization called BCW from 1997 to 2004, alongside one of his best friends, Nicholas Barone. But it wasn't until September 19th of 2002 that Brian had an idea for their upcoming Halloween wrestling event. The idea was to make an intro film for their event and broadcast it before the wrestling event to introduce the upcoming Halloween season. And the film had a very simple premise. They both had decided just to create a short about two filmmakers who venture off into a cemetery where a deadly creature waits for them in the dark. So on October 10th, 2002, Reaper in the Cemetery was shot.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I know, I gotta do it for my class, man. I mean, the assignment's not due till like fucking Halloween, but you know, I gotta do this. Sooner the better.
Hey, dude, I gotta go take a test.
Reaper in the Cemetery, well, that goes way back. Reaper in the Cemetery was originally supposed to be an opening for a backyard wrestling organization that we started. It was never really meant to be our first film. It was, like I said, it was more for an opening. Back then, we were kind of, we weren't really into the films back then. It wasn't one of our main objectives at the time. Nick always had, he was always wanting to do something with the films, but we never honestly had any equipment or time really to do anything, so.
After their annual Halloween event, they took a good look with what they had done with The Reaper in the Cemetery, and imagined what it would have been like if they had just spent a little more time with it. And after a few years of random short films, and with Nick's lasting interest in film and Brian's passion in script writing, they gathered every resource they had, but still no luck. But in November of 2004, longtime friend Derek Sanders approached them with an idea that just couldn't be refused.
Spot was added in right after the previous owners left the house.
Oh, okay.
Well, so how do you like the house?
Yeah, it seems nice.
Okay,
If
well-
we can afford it, we'll keep in touch.
Well, you know what? I'm telling you, it's going to be pretty much easy to afford this house. Rose Lane was our very first feature film that we shot. It was shot at our buddy Derek and Jason Sanders' parents' house. It was interesting and fun to shoot because that was the last night that we had at that house before I guess the new owners were coming in the next day. So here we are writing, I wrote on the chalkboard, don't buy this house or don't take this house or something. So you can imagine what these people are probably walking into their garage the next day looking and seeing a chalkboard going, don't buy this house, what that would do to someone. I don't know, it'd probably creep me out, but we've had a lot of setbacks that night. The main actor in that film was getting punished by his parents. He had to leave halfway throughout filming. That was actually my very first makeup job in a film, which all we used really was just a little bit of blood and some bubble gum. Yeah, it was funny because Jason Sanders would just keep popping up in the camera all the time. And here we come with the camera this way, and there's Jason looking up, oh, like a deer in headlights. It was funny. One instance when he pops into the shot, you can we had our three main actors hanging out, pretending they're partying and drinking some beer, and then right when the camera comes right into this, right when it focuses right into the scene, here comes Jason popping up, going tiptoes out of the room. But we just kept going. We just kept filming, didn't stop, and a lot of laughs now to this very day.
After the production of Rose Lane, they continued to thrive on the idea of filmmaking and the dreams that could possibly come along with it. And besides the shorts that followed, nothing like Rose Lane was being written. That was until the very next year, when Nicholas Barone and Christopher Webb came up with a possible idea. The idea was to make their first sequel.
Is it really empty?
Yes. As empty as this motherfucking garbage shit on your counter.
That C-U-N-T. She took it.
Who?
Around the Bend was a lot of fun to make. It took forever to finish. Our second film, right there, our main actor, out of the picture. Again, not even halfway through the film. I think we ended up having to go almost an entire different direction towards the end of the film just to get it finished. And it wasn't exactly what we wanted to do, but we still ended up doing it anyway.
Despite the continuing pattern of talents leaving the sets, they pushed on to finish the film. And even though Round the Bend may have left a sore spot with most of our film's members, it would be an experience that left Brian with something that he could eventually take charge of. An experience that would also bring him new passions. That passion was special effects makeup.
I did a slit throat because our main actor, he had a twin brother, so it was really cool because I got to take the twin brother, and I applied some stuff on his neck to where his neck was already slit and he was already bleeding. So I had a pump right behind him, so I'm standing pretty much right behind him, underneath him, just waiting for the cue to start pressing this pump, and then the neck would just start gushing out blood. I love that. That was pretty much my very first special effect I've ever made, and I think it's my favorite and probably one of the better ones I've ever done. I did a makeup job on 2 of the female roles in that film. But our problem was that it wasn't, again, our cameras were it was back then, it was a little outdated, it wasn't clear, nothing was HD back then. Couldn't really see the makeup that well. So when you're watching this film and you see these 2 girls, the only thing you could really see on them is just their eyes and the makeup around their eyes. You couldn't see anything, you couldn't really tell the color of the face or anything. And the one girl, Tina, she looked pretty cool because it looked like she had something going around her mouth and it was completely unintentional.
With Brian's newfound interest, he applied it to everything that our films did. And with every project that came forward from that day on, Brian was on top of it. But 2005 had come and gone, and throughout the next few years, our films continued to grow. From the 3rd installment of the Rose Lane trilogy, No Loose Ends, to 2009's Cornered, our films was beginning to feel the passion and motivation of pursuing the art of filmmaking. But this feeling of complete success didn't arrive until fall of 2010, when their full-length action film Justified Vengeance made its debut publicly in Westland, Michigan, at a local establishment called Marveso's Italian Grill. And that wasn't even the icing on the cake, because the very next year, on November 11th, 2011, their suspense thriller Phasmophobia also made a public debut, and at the very same place.
It was fun. It was amazing. I loved it. Filming Justified Vengeance, having a premiere, filming Phasmophobia and having another premiere, nothing can beat it. And we are actually giving out prizes and doing raffles and all that. And Jeremiah brings his DVD VCR combo. And it was funny because I guess you would call it an after party, but when we were hanging out afterwards, somebody took a picture of Tracy Smith, and as she's sitting there She's smiling. She's got this big old smile on her. And there's that DVD VCR combo sitting right next to her. And our friend Scott, when the picture was posted on Facebook, our friend Scott goes, she must have been happy because of the DVD VCR combo sitting next to her that she got. And she didn't really get it, but it was just a funny comment.
After the Phasmophobia premiere, Brian was very optimistic of the future of our films and what it could become in the near future. But unfortunately, by the middle of 2013, that was nowhere near the case. And since Phasmophobia, only 3 films had been done: The Killers Within, The Anniversary, and Guilty Conscience. But Brian remained calm, and he kept telling himself that things would pick up. Things would get better. But with our film's co-founder, Nicholas Barone, on the brink of pursuing a different direction for himself, Brian refused to give up. And in September of 2013, Brian's hard work paid off. Our films went under transformation and rebranded themselves, and also collaborated with Kyle Anthony of Burden Eden Entertainment on the production of The Diary of Michael James Thomas. And with Brian's knowledge and increasing talent in special effects makeup, Michael James Thomas is a movie that is still talked about to this day.
Remember, this is your fault. This! Stop! No! Stop! This is all on you! Do it! This is on you! Do nothing! You did! See? You see that? And we're just getting started, baby! This is all on you!
For Michael James Thomas, that was the first time I ever switched up the recipe that we used for blood. It's actually the ingredients we're supposed to be using, but I mean, I messed up a little bit, and the texture was very good, but the color didn't look that great. And by the time I got done making this stuff, this guy's kitchen, Jason Haynes, at the house that we filmed at, his kitchen literally looked like a meth lab. And yeah.
With our films back in the spotlight, they pressed on with other shorts including Case 116610, Devil's Night, The Unbroken Ritual, and Fear in the Wild.
We did the Fear in the Wild on our man trip, and I just loved coming up with the, hey, let's all walk in on Ryan as he's jerking off to a magazine.
No, he's not. Seriously.
And then also in that film, it was pretty cool because we actually came across a journal for the cabin.
What? Dude, some of the shit that they wrote in this book, man.
Yeah, basically it's like a journal or something. It just says
Shut
share
up.
your thoughts camping.
In the middle of doing this film, and we're like, oh man, look at this. We could use this somehow, some way, and tie it in, and it actually became the centerpiece of the story.
After the production of Fear in the Wild, our films felt they were ready to step to the next level.
Just a short bit of an explanation of what we're doing here is we're basically getting his face molded. We are molding his face out of toilet paper, cotton balls, liquid latex. The Demon in The Condemned was a little bit of a challenge because I've used makeup and I've done makeup jobs before, but I've never really used the latex and all that stuff with it. So that was I practiced a little bit here and there, but I've never actually did something to that extent. It turned out great. Tony looked like a demon. I mean, everything. The teeth, the eyes, the nails, the color, the wardrobe. He just looked like a flat out, scary as hell, I need to check underneath my bed demon. After we did The Condemned, then we got into the Detroit 48-hour film festival. And this one was going to be a little bit more challenging because compared to The Condemned, we knew going into The Condemned that it's pretty much a horror film fest. We went into Detroit 48 Film Festival like, oh my gosh, what if we get romance? What if we get comedy? What if we get anything. We could have gotten anything. We could have, who knows, we probably could have gotten a porn. Everyone, I think, was a little nervous. I mean, I was nervous. We actually wrote the story up on the spot right then and there for that one, which at the beginning of it, I wasn't too thrilled about that story because the thing they were telling me I couldn't do when I was coming up with a story to use for it, they ended up doing it themselves. Everyone was like, oh no, we can't have that kind of, it's too generic, it's too basic, it's been done a million times. But look at the humor that we ended up using. The one guy just kind of goes, oh, I do like this idea. Oh, this is what we're doing. Basically, does anybody else have anything to say? Well, what about, nope, we're doing this story. So, okay. Are we a team, or is it just you doing this yourself, and then we're just your pawns? What is it? It just, at the beginning of that Time Capsule, it just didn't really seem like a team project. It seemed more like of an individual's wanting to do his thing regardless of what anyone else said, and we just did it. I almost backed out, glad I didn't, because I had fun playing that role.
Even though tension was somewhat tight on the set of Time Capsule, all in all, people had a good time. But summer was in full swing, and with 2 film festivals under their belts, Our Films was ready for more. And with their drama short Darkness and Kyle Anthony's Drawing Dead officially in the library, they were looking for something different. Something they've never done before. But what was it? And in early October of 2014, their question was answered.
I understand what brought me out here, man. I know we're trying to find some stuff, but why you dreading me out?
I told you that we're looking for this here shit.
I don't give a shit what we're looking for, man. I know what we do. You know that you interrupted my gardening time, and I don't like when people do that.
Just shut up and keep your eyes out for the shit.
Man, shut the fuck up. See that? Look, man, that's tobacco, man. Shit, we hit the jackpot.
Now, if you've seen any of our past stuff prior to what we do now, back when we used to use the little mini tape cameras, Nick, Scott, and Derek did the Iguanodon files back in 2007, 2008, and it was funny. I loved it. It was just completely laugh your ass off funny. I mean, Scott literally going through a McDonald's drive-thru and, what are you doing? Yeah, you betcha.
No, thank you.
Ma'am, I have a question for you. Have you seen the great Iguanodon? No. If you see it, will you tell us?
Sure.
You're goddamn right you will.
And then to spring forward and actually say, okay, we're going to turn this into a comedy. Now, when I first heard about it, I thought, how is this going to get pulled off? Because the original Iguanodon was just actually kind of just spur of the moment it happened, which that created a challenge for the new one, because we weren't getting drunk and just driving around and having fun. We actually had a story that Scott came up with, and when I look at that film, it's very funny to me because there's a scene with the character that I play, Jim Bob. They're fighting stuffed animal bears. And next thing you know, out of the blue, out of nowhere, here you see my character, he's having sex with one. Now the funny thing about that scene is that you don't even see the stuffed animal in front of me. All you see is me fucking a tree, basically.
So I help him out, and then I look over, and the cute country boy with the hat and the glasses, he was like balls deep in bear.
Jim Bob! Jim Bob!
Just balls deep in bear.
And it just turned out to be a big, huge cotton orgy, and it was funny. It was fun. I wonder what the people that were walking the trails thought of when they saw us doing that.
After their first full-length comedy was completed and released, they were shocked by the positive reviews coming their way. And with these responses also came more reasons for our films to continue what they were doing, which was producing entertaining films that everyone could enjoy. And they've done just that. Now with the arrival of 2015, they've already got 3 shorts in the books. #1 bestseller, Choices, and The Last Investigation. And on top of those shorts, they still have a slew of films still in pre-production, including Anthony Pollock's Blindsided. But with all the projects in the works, it's hard to always have someone available at the drop of a hat. Because ultimately, no matter how big your dreams and passions are, reality always kicks in.
I also have 2 children that I love to spend time with. They are literally, I'm not just saying that because they're my kids, but I just think they're the coolest damn kids in the world. They have the best personalities ever. My daughter Alexis is actually starting to get into drawing and doing animation a little bit too, because she likes her cartoons. Hell, I'm 30-some years old. I still love my cartoons, so it's bound to happen one day or another.
I think it's safe to say that no matter how busy Brian is in life, he's always doing something that's related to film. Whether it's script writing, animation, or makeup effects, he's always on the move. And with his skills improving with every project he works on, our films will continue to stay on the positive path to success. But with Brian, he never takes all the credit. And as we said earlier, he's very humble and appreciative towards his fellow Our Films members.
Jeremiah, his acting skills has increased way beyond belief. He also went to school, learned a lot of editing, and he's learned a lot more from when he first started out. Nick, he went and graduated from Specs Howard. He's always had the passion to do something, and he's learned quite a lot since we started doing it. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the equipment to make these films right now unless we were collaborating with someone else. So, but now that Nick's got his own stuff, we can literally do something anytime we want. Tony, he's come into his own. He can literally take almost any role you give him and just knock it out of the water. When it comes to Sean, he tried his things not too long ago when it comes to like Tale of Two Tales, and he put a few shows out there, and unfortunately they had to stop. The reason why I honestly don't know, but he's talking about bringing that back, and he's learned from their mistakes the first time on what not to do. So hopefully we got something really cool to look forward to, because I know that when Tom, Eric, and Sean get together and start talking about something, it could actually be really damn funny.
Brian Mulka is humble, passionate, and one of the most creative artists that Our Films has. And being one of their co-founders, he promises to continue to bring what the people continue to want: a fun, entertaining, and professional product that the whole world can enjoy.
For some final words, all I can really say is keep having sex with cotton and stuffed bears, keep screaming, keep loving your sister, keep doing the dip. Yeah.